Let's bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. Dear Lord, thank you for all the blessings you have showered upon us. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this workshop despite of this situation. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that she will be able to impart effectively her God-given knowledge to all of us. May she be blessed as she continues to bring her expertise to people who need them. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you so much, Noel. Now I'm sure you're all excited, but I have a quick announcement. So we had a design workshop before, and we had a design contest, and the judges have judged your all your submissions. And I would like to congratulate Evelyn Malyare for being the winner. We will contact you again regarding your prize. Okay, so I really won't hold it off any longer. Introducing our speaker for tonight's UI and UX workshop. She is a product designer and a UI developer. She started her career 5 years ago, freelancing and working on gigs for friends and acquaintances. She has worked as a UX and UI designer and a front-end developer at Sims, Talented, and UBX Philippines. She currently works at Shopify and is based in Ottawa, Canada. Our speaker is the one and only Justine Cañete.
Hello, can I speak now? Ayun.
Yes.
Hello. It's so weird just seeing my face. Wait. All right. I'll start na ba? Hi friends, how are you? First and foremost, thank you for coming here. I know it's pretty late. It's actually 12-hour difference. So if it's 8 p.m. there, it's 8 a.m. here. Thank you for the introductions. I really appreciate that. Yeah, right now I'm in Canada. And I went here like last October 2019. But prior to that, I worked in startups and product companies for 5 years. And up until now, still sharing knowledge to you guys. And I'm excited because the reason why I went here in Canada is to actually learn from experts because I feel like I was limited in the Philippines. And in order to share more, I have to learn more. And it might be somewhere that I'm not comfortable. So, okay, before I get really emotional, I'm going to start my presentation or my talk. Um, Hopefully, I'm sharing the right screen. All right, we're in the right screen. Ayan, kaway-kaway tayo sa chat. I don't want to be, I don't want to be boring to the talk. Also, if you need to step out, it's okay. I know it's pretty late, so it's okay. Ayun. Design. So I'll be talking about UX design. What are the processes and the good practices when you do your UX design? So first and foremost, UX and UI are not the same thing. When you say UX, it means user experience, meaning you are more focused on what the experience of the user is when they are performing a task or tasks in your platform or app. It focuses more on usability and clarity of the next steps. So it has to be clear to the user what they need to do in this screen in order to move forward or in order to reach their goal. When you say UI, it means user interface, meaning it focuses on the visual aspect of your interface and also the connection to your brand. So if you're using Facebook, you know that it's Facebook because it has a certain look. If you're using Instagram, you also know because they have a certain look. This focuses more on the readability and the visual hierarchy of things. In reality, these two should work hand in hand in order to bridge complexity to meaning. So without the other, it's not a good design. So one example would be good UX, bad UI would be maybe the old DeviantArt or Craigslist. For UI, I don't have a lot of examples. I think most of them are practiced by brochure sites. Like they're really good in terms of visual, but it's not really the most usable design. So you have to make sure that you also have a good UX complementing good UI and they're complementing each other. So I'm introducing you to your best friend, the double diamond diagram. And as its name, you can see here two diamonds next to each other. And this is a process model that was created by the British Design Council last 2005. So, ang meaning sang ni, makita mo lagi di siya kay, if it's opening, awkward ko mag-Ilonggo, so may English ko. So, the opening, it means like, if you see this opening, it means converging, meaning you are focused on exploring. And then if it's like closing like this, it means diverging. I think there are different variations, but one thing that one thing that we're gonna use tonight or today is this one, which is another way to, I think it's another version of it, but it's kind of the same. So here, as I said, it's in order to get to point A where you don't know anything and anything is possible, you get to point B where you know things and this is how you should do your design. So in order to get from point A to point B, you have this double diamond diagram. First, it starts with discovery, which is the diverging discovery, and then definition, and then development and delivery. So it means when I say diverging is sorry, I messed up. Diverging means actually it requires you to open up and take anything possible into account or develop as many ideas as you can and potential solutions possible. When you say converging, it requires you to narrow down, get your ideas and approaches straight to make sense and decisions. So when you say diverging, it's exploration. Converging, it's narrowing down and making decisions. We're going to tackle this step by step so it's easier, but double diamond is usually what we use in the industry. I'm pretty sure you've heard of 6-step design, like so many steps, but this is like the 4-step almost. And it's like, I think the most essential steps that you need to take in order to come up with a good process in design. So if you look at the diamonds, it's really about doing the right thing in the first diamond, making sure that you're focused on the right problem, you're understanding the problem correctly. And then once you define what you need to focus on, that's when you do things right. All right, so you don't really waste effort here because you already made sure in the first step that, okay, this is the right thing to do. So in order to make this kind of fun, we're going to have some sort of design challenge, like a problem that we're going to work on through this workshop and apply those processes. So our design challenge is something that's really close to your heart. And I think for everyone, it's how might we create the best e-learning experience. So I'm going to have some water. How might we create the best e-learning experience? Just going to separate this tab here so I can see your chat. Also, if you have questions, I'll check out the chat. Ayan. Okay. So first, discovery. So this is the research phase. This is where you try to understand the initial situation or challenge at hand. This is also where you define what you now know about e-learning systems and what you need to know in order to discover more about the problem. This is also where the part where if you don't know things, you also figure out how to figure out those things. And you talk to the people, do your homework and research. So essentially, this is a process where you gather context as much as you can about the users, the market, and the product. So that's a lot that I said, but essentially it's what it means. It's just research. And there are kind of like questions that you can ask yourself and your team in order to learn more about the problem. So first is, what problem are we trying to solve? So we know that it's a problem around e-learning experience. Why do we need to solve it? Why is it important now for your company or, for example, the Philippines? Who are we solving it for? What are their needs and motivations? So this also is the part where you kind of define your user persona or who that person might be, or the person you're catering to. The third one would be, how does the current system work? What do we know now and what do we don't? Who are our competitors who are actually good at making e-learning systems and how do they try to solve this problem? And lastly, are there opportunities for improvement? So one thing that you can expect from this phase is the output, which is essentially a doc that contains unstructured research findings, user personas, competitive analysis, or assumption slam. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this before. Yeah, they're pretty industry standard, so I'm just going to show you how it's kind of done. Oops, I skipped. I'm going to change my tab. here. So like I said, it's gonna be like an interaction with us. So I'm hoping if anyone is like comfortable of contributing, I'm gonna give the link to the chat and then we can just like write down all of our ideas about e-learning systems or experiences in general. You can join if you're in desktop and then we can just do like a brainstorming session all together. This is a good experience for all of you guys because this is how we actually do it in Shopify and pretty much everywhere. Like if you work in a company, this is how you usually do it, especially if you're like a remote company, this is how you do it. So let's start with the research phase. So I'm just gonna copy over here all of my questions as our guiding. Right. So what problem are we trying to solve? Why do we need to solve it? So I haven't done this. I didn't think about this problem. So everything is fresh to me, just so I could reflect what really is happening in the work environment. But let's try. Anyone, you can feel free to type in your ideas. Just grab like an area and start typing. That's okay. What problem are we trying to solve? Why do we need to solve it? Let's think. Let's spend around 10 minutes doing this. So I think it's e-learning experience. In let's try to narrow it down. Like, why do we need to create an e-learning experience, the best e-learning experience in maybe like Philippines, or if you want to be more granular, it could be Iloilo. I think one of the problems is not a lot of the internet speed, not a lot. Not most students have a laptop. Some of them only have access to mobile phones. Yes, limited internet speed. What else? Feel free to grab a question and just like write down your thoughts under it. I think who are we solving it for? Students who only have smartphone. I think they are the ones that are like really affected by it and limited access to Wi-Fi, I guess. Their needs and motivations. Ano ba? Are you required to attend classes? Like how many hours yung ano nyo, yung online class nyo? Can someone chat if ilang hours?
6 hours per day.
6 hours per day, okay. So that's a lot of data. Hours per day usage. Do you have, so this is also like that part in the research phase where you talk to your users, like what are their challenges? The good part here is you are also the user, so you can tell from your experience what you should be writing down here. Anyone can relate. So how does the current system work? What are you using? Are you using Google Meet? Zoom, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't checked that if they have like a specific platform that they use. But feel free to write it down here, like the competitors. Discord. Ayan, I'll let others type then. And then we'll end around 8:26. For those na walang phone, you can feel free to chat it here and then I'll just copy paste. Yeah, low-end devices.
I really vouch for him because
Mm. I'm gonna search what the Cisco WebEx looks like. So I think most of it is. Do you find your apps usable in mobile phones or not? Is it hard to use in mobile phone or to access in mobile phone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom it in. Are there opportunities for improvement? Less subjects. Should I haven't checked Google Classroom now? Okay. Oh yeah, I remember Zoom calls only for 40 minutes. Seems like a lot of the problems is internet speed and really access. And maybe this could like empower us to make like an app that doesn't require a lot of data and then it's more simplified. Okay, we have almost like a minute before we end this brainstorming session. Maybe like mm, are you using are you using multiple applications right now, or is there like a single platform that you use that can do a lot of stuff? Because I feel like maybe there's an opportunity for us to have like a one place that's kind of like it only has all the essential. Smartphones. Of course, it has to be able to do calls, maybe chat, um, sharing files, sharing and downloading files, collaboration. What else? Okay, we can stop here, guys, and then I'm just gonna read through all of that's written here. Let's see. How might we create the best e-learning experience? So, what problem are we trying to solve? Why do we need to solve it? This is making a better e-learning experience. Not most students have a laptop. Some of them only have access to mobile phones. I'm not sure why file formats are here. I'm guessing that's like one of the problems. I'm going to assume that once you download something, you can open it on your phone. Is that correct? I'm guessing this is like like opening a certain doc file. And then who are we solving it for? What are their needs and motivations? Students who only have smartphones and limited access to Wi-Fi. These are the students who use the Wi-Fi for 6 hours a day, or they have 6 hours per day classes. Or is this plural? Calls, chat, their needs and motivations. They should be able to call their teachers or their class, chat with the students, sharing and downloading files, collaborate with others, maybe also take down notes. I'm not sure yet. How does the current system work? What do we know now? What do we don't? All right. So I think what we don't know is what exactly do they need. I'm gonna add it here. I'm really unsure what are the basic needs in order for a e-learning experience to work. Okay. I'm gonna highlight this one. Who are competitors? How are they solving the problem? Okay, we later on, this is very useful because we can take a look at Google, search at Google, and then see what their design looks like, and then get ideas from them. Application is data intensive in terms of video conferencing. Should I haven't checked Canvas? Okay, we can grab screenshots later and put them in somewhere. All right, are there opportunities for improvement? Platform that doesn't require too much data, mobile app friendly, one place with basic stuffs. Okay, what we know now, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stop presenting and present a different tab. Okay. So after we've done our research or discovery, we've nailed down some things that we know, sometimes some things that we don't know, and sometimes some things that we need to uncover by talking to users. Usually, this is a long process. Sometimes you go back and forth in order to learn more. Sometimes you have to do clarifications with people involved in order to nail it down, but that's okay. We only have like 15 minutes. I'm just going to continue. So once we've done all our research, assuming that we've figured out all things, this is where you define everything, or you synthesize what you've learned. So this is essentially where you try to understand and make sense of your research to define whether you are solving the right problem and praise your vision accordingly. So maybe you want to be more specific in this part. This is also the part where you kind of nail down what key tasks should the user be able to perform. So an output is usually a project brief, some job stories, or parts to work on. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to that doc file and we can start working on this. Again, let's see. So you can see, guys, the first diamond, it's a lot of writing down. It's not just about going in your Figma or your Sketch or Photoshop to work on right away. A lot of it is really thinking. Let's copy this. Redefine how might we based on your findings. So initially, we want to create the best e-learning experience, but it seems like our biggest block road is our internet or access. At this point, if you're a real company, realistically, you try to think if this is the right problem to solve. Because what if you do create an e-learning experience and in the end, no one can use it because in the first place, no one has access to Wi-Fi. So if you're a business owner, you might start thinking, okay, how can I provide internet in the first place? For example, like Facebook, what they did is they have this free data because they know most people from Southeast Asia doesn't have access to Wi-Fi. So they have that in order for people to access Facebook in the first place. So if you're a very rich company, you can do that. But if you're not, then this is where you kind of think, okay, am I solving the right problem? Do I need to move a step backward and see the bigger picture? For me, it's 6 hours. It's really hard. Like it's almost like a CEO kind of problem. But we're gonna assume that we can potentially. Wait, I'm gonna turn off notifications. But we have the data that is enough for mobile friendly experience. So how might we create the best? How might we support basic needs? Supports basic needs of students in Panay. Okay, so we can have like a North Star, something like how might we create a mobile app that supports the basic needs of students in Panay. So this narrows down. So this is the part where we converge from our research. We narrow down that, okay, we have so many problems, but what do we want to focus on as a first step? So we want to focus on the mobile app because it's like one of the biggest problems. Not a lot of people have laptops anyway. And just support the basic needs because, again, you don't have a lot of Wi-Fi's. We don't have a lot of data in the first place, so we can't really like support so many complex features. And we're going to specify in students in Panay because once we ship this product, they will be the one that will be using this product primarily. And this will also allow us to like kind of narrow down our research or getting to know the user by not covering so many different kinds of people. Because once you cover so many different kinds of people, you discover that they have so many different problems, and it becomes harder for you to even like come up with a design that caters to most of them. So let's specify to maybe needs of Ilonggo na lang, of Ilonggo students. What key tasks should the user be able to perform? So this one, I'm gonna hand it over to you, people who are here in Google Docs, and writing down what are the features that you usually use in those 6 hours. I'm just gonna push this down because I don't have any context. I'm pretty sure you have all the context. You can also use this job stories format, like when I listen to the teacher, I want to be able to do this, so I can do this. But again, you can feel free to just roughly write it down in any way you want. Online note taking. I love how everyone is like contributing. I'm so thankful for this group. Oh, are you talking about multiple recording, not just like the entire record, not the entire video? You could narrow it down. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I haven't seen any video conference that does that. Recording of clips. Yeah, I really like that idea. Video conference, yeah, access to class presentations for study. Can you elaborate on this more? What does that mean? Oh, frame rates. Oh, like you'll be able to stream almost in kung gusto mo 240p lang or like almost like YouTube. Is that the idea? I like that. No, is it? I think it's the same as YouTube, right? Okay. Okay, that's that's something do something like this so we know what we're talking about. Ayun. Oh, sorry. Discord does it. Okay, I don't use Discord that much, but okay, you can put that you can write down kung anong apps yung gumagamit niyan. Forum Q&As, right? So Google, they actually, this is only in the business type account. You're actually able to do polls, breakout rooms, Q&As. So it's very similar to Zoom. So I'm really excited once they release this to like the common public because I feel like it's gonna be very helpful to students. Sorry, this is my system for Q&As. Okay. Able to review missed classes. Oh, what do you mean by able to review missed classes? Oh, I guess we're watching it. Okay, so this kind of ties in with the multiple recordings, I think. Okay, we can narrow it down later or organize our thoughts. Online note taking. Okay. File size compression. I see. So this is more of a back end thing. Functionality. Okay. I'm not sure what access to class presentation for study means. Is it the same as reviewing these classes? Okay, that's good. We can organize later. So interact with video. Is this where you have like a pointer or laser pointer? No? Ano ba? Oh, this is more for professionals, I think. Okay. So what we're trying to do again is how might we create a mobile app that supports the basic needs of Ilonggo students? So if you don't think that that would support the basic needs of our users, then that would be like a nice to have almost. We could put down here like nice to have, like if you have extra budget, we can cover that. This is like the must-haves, okay? If you're a designer, you inevitably like join conversations around product. That's okay because you want the best for your users. So it's also important that you make the right calls when deciding on what the feature should be. So nice to have doesn't mean that we're not going to build it forever. It just means like we're not going to build it in this phase or the MVP or most viable phase, most viable product phase. So if you have a very grandiose idea, you can put it here. It just means like we don't have the budget or manpower as of the moment because we're not a very rich company like Amazon. That's okay. Is it okay if I move it here later? I'm sorry. Okay. Ayun. Let's kind of end here. Like maybe 8:42 is 8:41 right now. By 8:42, let's end, and then I'll try to organize all your ideas, and then we can just move things around. Data. Nice to have, yes. Okay, we have few seconds left, I think. If you have ideas, you don't have access to Google Docs, feel free to chat it here. I'll add it in the doc. Okay, it's 8:42. I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna try to organize or even rename. Ayan, may nagpapahabol pa. Wow, AI note taker. Actually, there's a tech that does that. I think it's also in Microsoft Word. Like I saw in TikTok, they have the note taker. You have the mic on, and then your teacher speaks, and then they can take note. Oh, what if an AI note taker that could that knows like hiligay nun, di ba? Kasi English lang yung support, dapat pati hiligay nun. Okay, good idea. That would be like a nice to have. Okay, so let's start from the first. Online note taking. Is this a must have? Okay, let's put it in the must have muna. File upload, yes. Okay. Multiple recordings. I think this all falls in the recording bucket. I'm gonna, okay. Yun. Organize tayo, okay. Collaborative discussion system. Is it really necessary to do this now? Or would be an online note taking? Like what would be the low end version of this? Because I feel like forum is such, like it's almost like an entire platform of its own. Like you have so, like forum itself has so many features. So is it okay if I move it here for now? And wait, where's it? Saan ka na? Ayan. Saan ka? Ang gulo. Guys, stop muna stop muna yung movement. Wait, messaging. Okay, this is like chatting. Grade estimation system. So I think we're kind of focusing more on the comms, right? So I feel like it's gonna be like a communication learning system or something. This is like so far this is what the idea I'm getting. Grade estimation system, one-page exam. Okay, video conference, corrective. Okay, interact with video. AI note taker. Great idea, okay. Grade estimation. Why do we need a grade estimation system in one-page exam? Can you elaborate more on one-page exam? Do they come together? This one I like, so must have siya. This, it's nice to have, but let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna give this like because I really like this idea. I want to see how we put that in the design later. So I'm just gonna slip it in here as must have under video conferencing maybe. Interact with video. Okay, I'm gonna slip it in here too. Para challenging yung design natin mamaya. And move it here. An online note taking, like what challenging yung design natin mamaya. And move it here. Okay, magulo siya. Recording. Okay, nice to have. Oh, yeah, this one is actually this one here. So don't worry. We gotcha, mate. Able to review missed classes, rewatch live classes. Yes, that is part of this one too. So we gotcha. Summary of scores, quizzes. Okay, so for the sake of communication learning system for now, I'm gonna put it here in the nice to have. Probably in the future, it's gonna be like so far this is what Google, where you have so many sub products, and then all together it makes them one page exam, something like the Google Classroom. But I'm gonna take all of this and move to the next step. Okay, good job, everyone. So proud. I'm so proud. Great idea. Okay. grade estimation. Why do we need a grade estimation system in one page exam? I'm gonna share this. Can you elaborate more on one page exam? So now that we've nailed, do they come together? Our synthesis phase, that was this kind of gruesome, but so fun, right? We're going to move forward to our another diverging phase, which is diverging exploration phase. It's gonna be develop phase where you ideate. So I'm gonna give essentially this like you generate really as many ideas as you can, combining all those basic needs or addressing all those basic needs. I mean, so you can do storyboarding or journey mapping. You can do important information in each step, or consider edge cases. And then the next question will be, what does an ideal journey look like for your user? And move it here. And at the same time, well, you do ideation, you show and tell, and gather feedback from UX reviews and team meetings. So move it here. What I'm gonna do now on my paper, actually, I'm not sure if you can see. Magulo siya. Recording. Sobrang scrappy, okay? Never mind. I'll do Figma. Yeah, this one is actually this one here. So don't worry. We got you, mate. Okay. Able to review Miss class to you my kind of process. But usually I do it on paper because that's the best this part. One too. So we gotcha. Wait, I'm thinking what's the best tool to use. So this is also part of your design process. Like once you get to the ideation phase, you actually talk to your team. Okay, so for the sake of communication learning system for now, I'm gonna put it here in the next to have. Probably in the future it's gonna be like everyone once they finish ideating, you present all of your ideas and then you talk about your ideas with your team. So right now I'm at that phase where I'm deciding, okay, should I go with pen and paper or should I go to Figma? At the same time, it's hard to ideate in Figma. I'm thinking of pros and cons. If I do Figma or Photoshop, it's gonna be hard for me to erase my stuff because it's always like you have to move pixels. So I'm gonna try something else, which is gonna turn off my background blur. Okay, I think it's turned off now. And then I'm gonna see if I could move it to my, okay. I'm sorry guys, this is disorienting, okay. So can you see my paper? Can you try chatting if you can see my paper? I think it's presented in a different, ayun, sige. We'll work through our, ayun, ano yan? Shall we start instead? And so I'm not sure you should be able to see my Google Docs and my paper. I'm just gonna write down here everything. Also you can do. I'm gonna do it like for like few minutes. Then you can do also with your own paper if you have your paper there, and this way we could just share it later, like get a screenshot and something. I'm gonna write here must have. It has to have online. Okay. Paano ba to? Online note taking. File upload. This is what I do on a daily basis. So, minsan glorified yung mga designers, but in reality, we do, we do this kind of thing. Okay. So, as a designer, sometimes you have a very huge project brief. What I do is just get keywords out of it. Kasi mahirap siya. I-take note. Multiple recordings. Necessary parts lang. Okay. While you're writing down, sometimes if you're really exposed to multiple apps, meron ka ng idea in your head what that might look like, that's okay. You're kind of just assuming things. Access to class, presentation for study. So I think it's like more like rewatching, right? Ayun. I think it's flipped. So in the end, you can't really understand what I'm writing down. Messaging. Oh, bakit nandito siya? Wait lang, move natin to. I think messaging is literally just chat. If you have the chat, you have the video. Chat and video. But under your video, you want to be able to, I think, even better than frame rate, you're just going to automatically detect the speed and then change it accordingly. Diba? Automatically detect the data, whatever. And then We wanna be able to kind of have like a note taker almost. Hindi gano'n. Almost like a smart AI note taker. We're just AI are smart, yeah. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, I'm just like talking, just rambling here. Interact with video. So I think with interact with video, I think being able to like do like a pointer almost. Okay, so I write down all the things that I understood from the project brief. Let's just pretend this is already a project brief. I'm gonna start. I'll put it here. I'm gonna start envisioning the mobile app. So I know, okay, what do I know now? I know that it's a mobile app. I know that it's for Ilonggos, okay? And I know a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna start here. So I'm gonna draw like this one would represent the entire phone. And I'm gonna start thinking, okay, how do they actually start using the app? Do I need to require a login? Diba? Like, is it possible na I'll just give them a link and then they'll be able to access right away? There's so many possibilities. What's the entry point? Kumbaga, what's the entry point to your app? If you have a paper and pen, also feel free to do this with me. I'm just talking out loud. So if I'm being too loud, you can mute me. But entry point, let's see. Okay, I feel like at some point it has to be secured because you don't want like random people just go into your class and then I know in Facebook there's like a bunch of people who do that. Like they'll go to a Zoom class and then just access it. So maybe I'll do that. I'll have a login here with my email and password. So it's okay. Sometimes you can use boxes. You can do it whatever way you want, as long as you know what you're writing. You can understand what you're writing, and later when you present it, you can actually tell what you're trying to communicate. So I'm gonna put here. Sometimes I want to use smaller pen, and then maybe arrows to say, okay, this is an email. This is your password. And then I could also, if I don't want to create an account, have a link. So this is more like a link. Okay. So may symbol tayo dyan. I could just copy the link here and enter. But what I want to solve for as well, because this is a problem, is I want a security question or answer or something like a very unique link. Yeah, I think we could do unique link here. Okay, so once you enter this, you can either enter here through the button or through the link. So you have the arrows. What would be the next step? So what would be pretty cool if we have like multiple classes? So we know that we have like multiple classes in a day too, right? What would be cool if you have almost like a schedule? Once you enter, there's like a schedule of the day. And almost like Google Meet, you can see like, okay, this is my 7 a.m. class. This is my 8 p.m. class or whatever. This is my 8 a.m. Ba't gabi? 9 a.m. Tapos merong 1 p.m. ganyan. So may pangalan ng the name of the subject and then maybe the instructor. And then I feel like whatever is like the active one, it's like highlighted in some way. Maybe it's bigger. Maybe it's like everything is grayed out. This is like the one that's in color, maybe. And then once I enter it, I see my classmates. See, kung mobile phone siya, what's the best way, diba? Like if I'm okay, when I log in, I see the schedule. I click the schedule, and then what's the first thing I see after? So it's kind of jarring, or it's kind of jarring if right away you enter the class, because sometimes you wanna kind of just see a preview of what's going on, or maybe not. So I'm just like writing down all the stuff. So minsan may preview ng tao, then you can see your classmates. Okay, may 19 na dito yung students. Pag isa pa lang, wag mo na pumasok. Ayaw mo na pumasok sa class kasi konti pa lang yung tao. Ayaw mo ng awkwardness, di ba? And then you can like enter here or something. Also, there's like a path where, okay, automatically you can see your classmates here maybe underneath. I'm just drawing out, and this is your teacher. And then, so if you're on your mobile phone, I'm just gonna show here my mobile phone. So if I'm on my mobile phone, oops, the picture, where do I wanna put the buttons? Because for sure, like the challenges in a mobile phone, like if you accidentally tap mute, unmute, or whatever. So I'm just gonna assume that maybe I'll put the buttons here or whatever. Ba? Sometimes you can skip this part. Maybe automatically they go here instead of having the screen. So you can start thinking about different paths to take. And then, okay, so first, online note taking. Where do I put that? Where do I put that in? And then you start thinking about the users. So in a real scenario, what is the usual structure of your class? Okay, you start with good morning or greeting. And then your teacher start talking, or whatever the agenda is, maybe. Like, okay, class, today we're gonna do this, do that. And then they start talking. Okay, so it's a bit challenging with a mobile phone. It would be nice if... Okay, so we have online note-taking, file upload, recording, chat and video. So the chat and video, we kind of already... This is the video itself. I think there might be like 3 dots here somewhere. Yeah, 3 dots or somewhere to kind of change your video settings and stuff. But you don't have to think about this because in our backend, we're going to automatically detect the data and then just adjust your frame rate. So it's almost like in this app itself, there are kind of features. So I'm trying to figure out what would be, where could we put that apps? Like how do we access those apps? Because we have online note-taking, recording, chat and video. Okay, I'm gonna think hard. I feel like we might not need to see our classmates all the time. So we could remove this part and instead focus on the tools that we can. Di mukhang tao. Okay. And then maybe here. Oh, what if this whole area here is scrollable? Almost like, okay, if I switch here in the first dot, it's gonna be my teacher. In the second would be like my classmates. Almost like Zoom. And then it depends. I feel like if your teacher is presenting something, maybe we could prioritize in the first carousel the presentation itself. So there's the preview. You see the diagrams and whatnot. So we have like 3 views. We have the teacher view or the speaker view, we have the presentation view, and we have the viewers or audience view. So when you swipe this area here, you can kind of change views. But here is the bottom part where we put all of the things that we need. So maybe there's chat. There's record. So maybe it's use like a record icon or something. And then within our chat, that is where we, of course, type in and then upload stuff. See, we're trying to figure out where all these features live in. And then the last part might be the note-taking, right? Or the AI. Because you can see here that the transcribed whatever your teacher is saying. And then maybe from the transcribe itself, you can also like highlight stuff. Like, okay, these are all the things that she's saying, and then you can just like highlight the part and then kind of maybe bookmark it. I don't know. So sometimes in your exploration, you stumble upon like very cool ideas. So that's kind of my idea here. I could like do multiple variations. So I'm just gonna present it to you guys. I hope you see it clearly. Wait, I'm gonna put my camera back. Right. And, and I think it's flipped. But let's see. Okay. So here, this is my idea, and this is what like we're gonna do next. If anyone did their own thing, I am gonna give you time after this. Wait, I'm gonna try to fit it. Okay. So I'm thinking the entry point of our app would be a login, email, and password field. But for those that doesn't have any account, they could also type in their unique link here. So if you type in your email and password, you have like a login button or a link. You can also, and then once you go through that page, you see here like a schedule. It lists down all your subjects with your teachers and the schedule, and then whatever is like the next one would be highlighted in some way. And then once they click that highlighted card, they would see here a screen like a preview of what they're discussing right now. You can see if a teacher is speaking and then the number of students that are in the room itself. I feel like that would be cool because if you're not ready yet, you can just like go back, take your time, like get a drink or go to the toilet before even entering the class. And then enter. Once you enter, you see here the teacher, depending, you have like 3 views. I was thinking of 3 views. So this part would be like a carousel here on your mobile phone. If your teacher is already presenting, then you would see this by default as a starting point, like the presentation slide. If not, you can see your teacher, and then when you swipe, you can see all your classmates here. And then below that would be all the tools that you need. So you have the chat, you have the record, and you also have like a transcribe note. So if you click chat, it will open up like a sheet at the bottom or a modal, and it will show you the chat. And then you can start typing something or uploading stuff. You can also download stuff from here. Of course, if there's something new, you would see like a red button in one of these tabs. And that's it for me. That's my idea. And I'm interested to know if you have other ideas. I know we're already at 9:04, and I'm planning to end this at 9:30 because I don't want you to sleep very late. So I'm going to give you like around 10 minutes to do your own sketching. Is that okay? Thumbs up if not. If you want to continue, thumbs down in the chat. And okay. So I want you to do your own exploration. I already shared here the must-haves, but I'm just going to share at the bottom here yung sinulat ko kasi alam ko na masyadong unruly. Sometimes if you have multiple designers in your team, someone would be note-taking and then sharing notes. So if you're best in note-taking, your teammates will appreciate it. So I'm just gonna write it down here because I'm gonna search what the Cisco WebEx look. And note-taking. I'll upload. I know I haven't covered multiple recording, so if you have other ideas, you can also cover that specifically. Actually, I'm not gonna organize it, so you guys can explore how you wanna put things together. Okay, I think that's all. So I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm going to continue exploring. All right. So it's 9:15 and we're going to move on to our next step. Wait lang. So we just did our ideation phase. So that is a part where you sketch for a day sometimes, just getting the most out of your brain and sketching like different paths that the user can take in order to use your app. The next part would be delivery. This is the part where you again converge. This is the part where you make decisions at the same time prototyping stuff. So this is where you also like go back and forth. Step 3, that's okay if sometimes you figure out, okay, this is not what I want. I could go back to step 3 and sketch and explore again. But sometimes if after, like, remember I presented to you my design, what happens usually is after sketching it, I'm going to select like my high confidence solution, and then we're going to do almost like a presentation where each designer presents their idea, and then we highlight what ideas we really like out of everyone's. I know. I'm sorry, but yeah, but so we present each other's ideas, and then we kind of decide as a team, like, okay, what ideas do we like? What ideas stand out? And then out of that, we steal ideas from each other, and then we go back to our drawing board and then do another round of ideation if you want, until you kind of have this high confidence solution that you're ready to prototype. So if anyone, honestly, if anyone wants, they could share if they're comfortable, because I know it's a video conference. Maybe you're shy. So if you are, you can, and if you're in Google Doc, feel free to actually upload your stuff here. Or you can also share. I'm not sure if you could share your screen or something. No, share your video. Okay. I don't think there's enough time. But you can continue this, and then I can review your work after the workshop. I'm just gonna continue here. This is where you prototype your high confidence solution, and then you put it out there to your actual users. So if it's like Ilonggo students, you talk to Ilonggo students, show them your prototype, and then see how they react. And then once you learn from their reactions, their comments, you try to interpret what those mean. Like, do they actually have pain points in some area? Do they find something weird or confusing? If they do, then maybe you have to address it in the next iteration. And then it's not only usability tests, you can also show and tell again to other designers or stakeholders in team meetings. I already mentioned it, usability tests with your users. And finally, learn and iterate as much as possible in order to get a very high confidence solution. And once you get to that point that, okay, you're very confident, or maybe it's only like you have that's your deadline, then that's the time when you decide on that design to push forward and then push it to build. So right now we still have like around 10 minutes. I'm going to show you my process when I do the implementation phase. So I'm going to share my Figma or my screen. I'm not sure what is being shared here. Okay, I'm going to click this link. This is too bad. I can't open the link because my Figma is like present now. Seeing my entire screen. Okay. Let me check if I'm sharing the right screen. I think I should. Okay, you can see my screen. So I'm now going to fiddle with Figma. What I did is I have this file here. I'm not sure if you have Figma, but I know someone here shared the Figma link. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that contains, but if you're comfortable, you can copy here. Copy your design here and paste it here. Okay. So what I did was, out of my sketch, I actually moved it to Figma because this will be my basis on what I'm going to work on. And then what I did was I just grabbed, if you went to Figma, you can see here the community tab. This contains different types of resources. There are design systems, wireframes. If I go to wireframes, I could just grab, oh, look at this one. You can you don't have to start from scratch. You can actually just grab something here, and if it's low fidelity, meaning it's lo-fi, like basic shapes, you can just get something here and then use it. As you can see, it's a bunch of, don't think I like that one. I like a more refined one, which is like this. It resembles more of a phone. I'm gonna try to use this one. Android UI kit, more Figma templates. Huh, there's a license. Okay, so the free one is like this one. Okay. I'm going to copy. Hope you can see my screen. I'm just going to copy this one and move it here. Actually, I'm going to copy here, everything here. No. It's a very big. Okay. Send it. So I'm going to start prototyping now, assuming that this is in line with your branding. So if you have like a different UI, I'm just going to cover mostly UX, but assuming this is the UI, like this is the branding of your company, feel free to explore if it's not. But for me, I'm just going to assume that this is how our app looks like, or our interface looks like. So I could say here online. No, I don't know a cool name. See, even from this one, I'm already stuck. Hello world. Ano ba? Okay, let's not get stuck there. Password, okay, good. Meron ng field. Okay, I'm gonna move that here. I'm not a big fan of how they organize this. So this is the hard part if you have a design system in place. Sometimes it doesn't really support all the components that you need or the elements that you need. So sometimes you have to create your own. I'm gonna see if I could just take advantage of what's currently here in this screen. Okay, use a link. I'm not going to have placeholder because I think that would be confusing, but I'd like to change this icon to something else, like a link. Okay, since I'm assuming this is low fidelity, so I'm just gonna not be too hard on myself. As long as I could all this later, I could communicate what I'm trying to do. Okay, next would be schedule. So I'm assuming they're using this to schedule. I don't think they have a card today. And this is their card. But I don't really like that card, so I'm gonna try to do my own. Should have done my own. I don't really like it. Bugs me when I have a very bad placeholder. I know it should be just be fine with the placeholder at this point because it's very early, but it doesn't feel very, what do you call this, local. So I'm just gonna change it a bit. Okay. So here is schedule. Actually, it's very clear that you have a schedule here, so you might not need to duplicate it anymore. You can just start doing like cards. I'm just gonna copy here. Card. So if I try to copy this style, I'm going to click Option Command C. That would copy the style, and Option Command V. Okay, it looks like it doesn't. Why? Command C. I'm assuming because, okay, it doesn't really. I don't know what's going on. If it did this. Okay, looks like it's having a problem copying the style. It might be because the instance isn't here yet. Is that word? Oh no. Okay. Since it's a very low fidelity, that's okay. When you're exploring, don't use lorem ipsum, please. It's better if you just say like subject name, like be more. It doesn't have to be very specific, but at least describe what's going on here. If you're doing Android, it's usually the rules of 4 or 8. So it's usually so you can see here I'm looking at 12 by 12. I can also do 16 by 16. We'll start with a 16 medium. And then when you're using black, don't use pure black because it's very jarring in the eye if everything is in high contrast. So you can like explore different shades of lighter, darker gray. And then you can say hey teacher name. And then it could be, it might not be the primary information. So just do it in a smaller text and then regular. And then you can even gray it out a bit. There you go. Again, rules of 4 or 8. And then I could just say here 7 a.m. 16, okay. So what I want to do is put a shadow because it's supposed to be obvious that it's clickable. Okay. And how do we highlight that? Okay, I'm gonna figure out that later. So I'm gonna do like, I'm gonna copy paste. I'm gonna make sure that I rename all those layers because I wanna be a bit organized. It's hard. And then what you can do is just copy everything and then auto layout. So what auto layout means is it's gonna automatically put padding in between. So for here, I think 8 would be okay. Again, rules of 8. I'm just gonna copy paste and see how it just automatically lays it in there. I can change this to 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10, and maybe this one moves because it's not aligned to the right. I'm gonna align to the right. Maybe the next class would be 2 p.m. One of the decisions here is, okay, do I want to make 2 to 4 p.m., 2 to 3, or do I want to be just include the starting time? And then you discuss it with your team why you would want that or not. Frame selection. I don't want to frame this. Okay. So how do I want to highlight? Oh, one of the ideas actually that I have here is what if we have like a calendar picker? Because that would allow us to check old classes and then kind of view the recording in that area. That's how we're gonna view past recordings essentially. So right now it's gonna be September 1, September 26. I want here an ability to kind of change the calendar. So let's just imagine this is a calendar icon. And from here you can change the date, and then you can view past classes essentially. Okay. So as you can see right now, it doesn't look very clickable. So when you do like your medium fidelity or high fidelity, you have to make sure that you come back here and make sure that it's obvious if this is clickable or not and whatnot. So what I'm gonna do is, how can I make sure that this is the next class? I think I'm gonna have like a color or something, maybe. What color palette is this? Okay. Making sure the branding is on point. Then when I enter it here, I see the subject name, of course. Assuming that this is like a past subject, we can even gray it out more. Let's just communicate that, okay, this is a past subject, but it has like notes and stuff. So maybe we could have like icons here. Okay, this has a note. Hey, why? I don't know why it's not working. Oh, it has to be above. So imagine these are like your icons that, okay, this meeting has recordings, notes, and whatnot. Or else these ones, they are empty because of course they are not, they are future meetings. So maybe like different colors too. Okay, let's just assume that's the case. Subject name, when you enter here, you see like your teacher, or if she's already presenting. And then I'm gonna look at my sketch, my beautiful sketch. Okay, I want avatars here. In the real world, you have to put justice in your prototype, guys, but I'm very scrappy. So again, rules of 8, 24, because it's divisible by 8. Then you can see here different classmates. Ideally, you would use like avatar icons, because it's confusing that you have like a blue here and a red here. They might, when you present it, people might think that they are actually connected. So make sure that you're using the elements to have only one meaning. And if not, maybe you can just have like 19 students. It might be clear. 19 more. Let's not assume that they are all students because another professor might be joining. So as you can see here, you're also thinking about the copy for the label. So if you say 19 students, we don't want to assume, again, that everyone here is a student. So maybe just for the sake, I'm just going to have them in this color. And then I'm going to steal here the enter button. And I think from here, I could also, what? I don't know what's up. What's going on with you? Okay, let's flip it. before horizontal. There. And then maybe I really like I'm gonna steal one idea from Google where this is where you also set if you're gonna be muted or not. Again, buttons. This one, I don't want to make. Okay, this is tricky because I don't know exactly where to put the bigger icons because I think if you're in your mobile phone, the minimum size of the icon or the button icon would be 40 by 40 because it's the size of our thumb. So you shouldn't go below 40 if it's a clickable element. I don't know where to place this. I don't want circles everywhere. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be here. This is up for debate later if I show it to my team, my imaginary team, what their comment will be. I'm gonna see their reaction if they don't like it or not. This is the one. Okay, now that we have here, we're going to work on the next frame. Oh, okay, it's already 9:30. So I'm gonna stop from here because this is a lot of work to do. But essentially, this is your prototyping where you kind of convert all of your ideas to the design that you can test later to your review or actual users. So I'm gonna continue here. Okay. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I think I have to stop presenting. Present again my this one. So once you've done the prototype, which I'm working on, you kind of polish it to a point where you can present it to your actual users, or if you have internal, if you have employees that actually has like a, for example, like customer service, they know a lot about your users, how they would probably react. You can show it to them and see how they would react to it, how they think your user would react to it. So you can also test it internally with your designers or your customer service. And then from that, you gather feedback from them and then iterate again your prototype until you come up with a prototype that's really, really, you think that would work or address all your problems or your user problems. I mean, so I'm really fumbling, but I'm gonna continue. So after you deliver, assuming that, okay, I've done so many iteration, this is my high confidence design. Also, this is the deadline, so I cannot really explore more. So that's like your deadline, okay? The next thing you do is before shipping the product, like I'm gonna assume that a shippable product would look like the one that we saw in the Android UI kit. Like it's very polished. You nailed all the copies, all the icons, all the placement. Okay, it's ready for building. One important thing is to make sure that you have the dev handoff. So what a dev handoff means is literally you're going to talk to your devs and present your design and make sure that they know how to navigate through your design. They understand what's going on. So prepare and organize your design files, your Figma file, make sure it's correctly named. You also consider other screen sizes. So for example, in our example, we're only using a mobile app for Android. So if you're offering it in iOS, make sure that you also kind of cover what would look like for iOS. And then if you have like students who have disability, then make sure that it will also work for them. And internationalization, if you are offering apps for people from Brazil or German, make sure that if they do translate it to German language, it wouldn't break your layout. Before build, go through the prototype with the devs, have a meeting with them and answer any questions. If they're confused or whatever, you address them. And then once they started building and actually about to launch the product, you also conduct another review, which you call polish review, making sure that everything looks like the one that you designed and everything works well, nothing breaks essentially. So you want to make sure that if you have a very solid design, once you look at the app of your phone, it actually looks like exactly like what you designed, because it doesn't make sense to pour all your heart here and at the end it doesn't look exactly what you designed for. So that's it. Thanks for listening to me. I'm sorry if I extended the time a bit. But if you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll be here to answer them. Thanks for participating, guys. And you can work on the workshop if you want, because it's a very fun problem to solve. Ayun. Thanks. If you want to reach out to me pala, I have, you can check out my website. I got nervous at the end because I know we're past our time. I apologize here. Here's my website, guys. Yeah, if you want to reach out, go lang.
Thank you, Miss Justin Win, for the workshop. We really did learn a lot. So if any of you want to ask some questions, just feel free to type in the chat.
So like at the first part of your presentation, you kind of tackle. Oh wait, hello.
Hello, I can hear
Okay,
you.
nice. So like during the first part of your presentation, you kind of tackled research. In like a real life scenario, how research heavy is it? Like how long does it normally take you to, I don't know, start and finish a like case study? Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a good question. Actually, the length of your research would depend on how much you already know and how much you don't know yet. So, take for example, I have like my first project in Shopify. There's already a team who kind of worked on or explored that problem space. So when we came in, we have so many insights already. And when we have like, our data scientists, they already have data on this kind of stuff. So it was fairly easy to just gather context internally and by talking to people. But when my second project happened, it was kind of challenging because we were like solving for a different type of merchant in Shopify. So there's a lot of things that are unknown to us. And also like the feature that we're building is not common, like not everyone is doing that sort of thing. So there are so many questions in our head and we spend so much time researching. So I would say the research would really be based on how much you know and how much you want to know more. And that would, like how much you want to know more, that would dictate how you would gather those information. Ayun. Did I answer your question?
Yes,
So
thank you so much.
if you don't really know something, I would expect minimum 1 month, because you also deal with the people, like the merchants, for example, in your Shopify. Like not all merchants are always available, so sometimes you have to book times with them. But if people are accessible, then it maybe less than a month would be okay. Thank you. Ayun. Okay, if there are no other questions, right? There's no other questions. Okay. Okay, so there's a question here by Alan Ray. Good evening. Kung mag-start na build ang mga devs, kabalik-balik man sila sa UX team about sa mga problems na makita na nila perme. Yeah, so usually what happens is when you do the prototype, you try to cover edge cases, but at times when it's already on build, devs discover that, okay, once you do this, it actually leads to like a broken page or weird stuff happening. If that's the case, you have to go back to your UX team and ask them, okay, there's actually this weird edge case that happens when I do this from the design. How do we deal with it? Or maybe you discover that actually this is not possible or something. The one thing that you can do in order to avoid these things is talk to your already, what do you call this? Like collaborate with your designers early on. So while they are already like exploring, when they do have their meetings or stakeholders meetings, make sure that there's a dev that's present so they could address questions about technical limitations and stuff to avoid those stuff. But again, even in Shopify, like we're a very big company, we still go back and forth when you're in the building phase. Yeah. Sometimes glorified ang design process sa Silicon Valley. For example, like we all thought, I thought it's perfect there, like everything's seamless. But when I got here, it's actually the same. Like humans are humans. Like it's very normal na very rough. Tapos you also kind of figure out things along the way. Like there's always room for learning.
So guys, if you have like more questions, you can just put it in the chat. Don't be shy.
Aside from, do you also do games UX too? Yeah, actually, okay. Actually, I'm a hardcore gamer before in high school. So I thought I'll take up IT because it will allow me to do game development. But no, it's actually different. I haven't done games UX though. Yeah, I haven't done. It will be a cool side project. You're welcome.
Okay, so if you guys have no more questions, thank you, Miss Justine and Cañete, for the workshop. We really learned a lot.
Sure. Thank you guys for giving your time. I know it's pretty late, so I really appreciate you being here and just learning.
Okay, so if everyone could take turn on their cameras for with a group photo.
I was expecting for the 3, 2, 1 smile. Okay, diba?
We're waiting for everyone to turn on their.
Okay. I don't see any grid system here, so I don't know. Chinatown.
Okay, so we'll take the photo now, I guess. Uh, smile.
So cute.
So okay, so we'll do the DSC symbol, like be like
Go, Geraldine. Practice.
like wait.
And I think you need to teach Miss Justin the DSC symbol.
Ah, okay. I don't know. I thought you're all doing the peace sign.
Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thank you everyone. Before we end, I'll send you. There's a feedback form, and if you guys could answer form, send it in the group chat. Also, just a little plug. Our next event, we already have our next event, so feel free to check it out. I also sent it in the group in the chat. So I guess that's it. Thank you guys for attending and Miss Justin for the talk.
Thank you, Miss
Thank you, ma'am.
Justin.
Thank you,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Halong kamuda.
Okay, so we'll do the DSC symbol, like, be like,
Go, Geraldine.
like, wait.
And I think you need to teach Miss Justin the DSC
Ah,
symbol.
okay, okay. I don't know. I thought you're all doing the peace sign.
Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thank you everyone. Before we end, I'll send you. There's a feedback form, and if you guys could answer form, send it in the group chat. Also, just a little plug. Our next event, we already have our next event, so feel free to check it out. I also sent it in the group in the chat. So I guess that's it. Thank you guys for attending and Miss Justin for the talk.
Thank you, Miss
Thank you, ma'am.
Justin.
Thank you,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Halong kamuda.